In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the divergence of a vector in tensor form. Now, let us consider a Canarian vector psi I and find the covariant derivative of the Canarian vector psi I. So, psi I semicolon, this is a covariant vector. Covariant vector, this is a tensor. We already discussed in the previous lecture. That is a covariant derivative of a tensor. So now let us put I is equal to L. Put the same index. So L is equal to I. Now once you put L is equal to I, so this is a contraction. Once a contravariant index and the core index are made equal, this means it's a contraction. Now during contraction it becomes a scalar. So psi I semicolon I is a scalar because of contraction of a tensor. Now this contraction psi I comma I we call as a divergence of the vector psi I. So psi I semicolon I according to the definition. This is first we write down the normal derivative psi I comma I plus psi I, this is a dummy index S, gamma, since there is S, there must be S here, and this is I. So using the definition of the contravariant derivative, we are expressing the equation 1. Now we already shown the Recchi lemma. This is a Gij is the covariant metric tensor. You find the derivative, the covariant derivative of Gij. So this is with respect to the coordinate x. So if you find this covariant derivative is 0, this is a Recchi lemma. Now, according to the definition, you expand. So first term is the normal derivative, and the second term is you replace one index as a dummy index Gkj, gamma k hi. Then the next term is you keep I and you change the j to the dummy index k, gamma k, jk. This is equal to 0. So using the definition of the covariant derivative, this is expanded and to the expression 3. Now in this expression 3, you multiply Gij on both sides, Gij term by term, and make a contraction. So this is a Gij and Gij comma k h minus here Gij, Gkj, gamma k hi. If you multiply Gij here, the term is Gij, Gik, gamma k j. Which is 0. Just you are making a multiplication, and now we are making contraction. So if we take this term Jj, this is Ik, so this becomes delta Ik, covariant delta Ik. So this is a contravariant metric tensor, this is a covariant metric tensor, and this is Ij, Kj. So once you make a multiplication, this becomes a delta Ki. So the non-vanishing term is only when K is equal to I. So here K is replaced by gamma I hi. So the first term is you can write as it is. The second term is you put K is equal to I. In the third term, here there is an I and I. So this is delta Jk, delta Jk. So this term is delta Jk. So K must be replaced by J. So the third term K must be replaced by J. Then that is only non-vanishing term. So gamma J, Jh is equal to 0. Now here both are dummy index. J is a dummy index. There are two indices are in the contravariant position as well as the covariant position. So there is a J and J. If there is a dummy index can be replaced by any other index. So you can replace J by I. And also this is symmetric. Xi is equal to Ix. Because the void is the gamma, the Kirchhoff principles of the second kind is symmetric with respect to the void indices Xi or Ix. Both are equal. They are symmetric. So using this, This is the first term you can write like this. This and this can be combined to give minus 2 gamma I xi. Or this term alone gamma I xi is equal to half of this one. So this is equation 6. Now let us consider a covariant vector Gik. So since this there are two indices, so this is can be expressed in terms of a matrix. This is the Gik is the ith element of the matrix. Now if you want to get a contravariant element Gik, so this Gik is the elements of the inverse matrix. So this if you have a covariant vector, the vector that can be expressed in the this is a covariant vector that can be expressed in terms of matrix, and its inverse is Gik. So here Gik means the ith element of the inverse matrix is equal to capital G I comma k divided by G. Now the G is called as the determinant of this matrix. So this is a covariant matrix. This is a you can obtain the determinant of this matrix. That is a small g. G capital G of I comma k. That is called as a cofactor. So this is a cofactor determine is your inverse. So let us use the property of the matrix. Now, if you take a determinant, how will you find the determinant? The determinant can be determined by, suppose if you take any one row, suppose if you, for example, if you consider third row G3k, this is a element in the third row multiplied by the cofactor of this element G of 3 comma k. So if you multiply, you will get the determinant. So this is from the principle of determinant, you can get this expression. Or for instead of a particular row 3, for in general, if you take a ith row, so if you take G of I comma k, this is the cofactor of I comma k. That is that can be applied by from this expression G divided by partial d G I. So if you differentiate dg by d3k is equal to G of 3k, or in general, instead of the third row, if you choose a general ith row, you will get this expression. Partial dg by dg ik is equal to G of I comma k. So this is a G I comma k is the determinant of subdeterminant of determinant G. This does not contain the variable Gik. So this cofactor does not contain this variable. So we are using the idea of a determinant and we are getting this expression. Now we substitute this expression 8 in equation 7. So this is equation 7. So we substitute the equation 8. So if you substitute G of I comma k, you will get this expression Gik. This is index in the quadratic position. So the inverse element, the matrix is the inverse. This is the element the inverse matrix. Gik is equal to 1 by G. Gik will be partial dg by dj. So we are using partial dg by dj. So if you substitute equation 8 in 7, you will get this equation 9. And now equation 6 becomes, so what is equation 6? Gamma I x n. So you are writing this, which is equal to half. Now we have already shown that Gik, so substitute this value here. See here. So Gik, so if you substitute this expression is 1 by G partial dg by dgik, and here dg by dj. So you substitute this value, and here G H I H comma H means you are finding the normal derivative. So you are writing the normal derivative. So if you substitute equation 8 to the 7 we get 9 and equation now 6 becomes like this. Now here if you consider this expression, this is partial dg by dgik in dgik by dkh. So this can be combined into partial dg by dxh because this can be moved. So gamma I IH. So this is Kirchhoff symbols of the second kind is half into g, 1 by g, partial dg by dgh. Now if you combine this term, this will be d by dxh of logarithm of g. So if you differentiate this expression partially with respect to this coordinate, so logarithm of g means 1 by g partial dg by dxh. So if you have this expression, that can be expression this. You can easily check by differentiating this expression. Now we take this half factor in here. So if you take this half factor here, this d by dxh of logarithm of rho. So if you differentiate with this expression, if you differentiate with this expression, you easily check. So you are getting equation 10. Now putting this above result in the divergence formula. So this is the divergence formula. Psi I semicolon I, which is the divergence of psi, which is equal to, according to the definition, first term is psi I comma I, and the second term, this is psi I gamma I is, that we have already calculated. So substitute this value back here. This is d by dx of logarithm of root. Now you multiply and divide by root g. So first term you have root g, you take one term denominator, multiply and divide by root g in both denominator and the numerator and denominator. You will get this expression. And here also you have root g. Here one by root g. Now this term is psi s d by dx of root g. Because you can check if you differentiate, you will get this expression. D by dx of logarithm of root g. This is 1 by root g in the d of partial d of root g going to dx, and 1 by root g and 1 by root g gets cancelled. So this from this you can get the next expression. Now this can be combined. These two terms can be combined like this. Psi I root g comma I. This is normal derivative. So that can be easily checked. So if you find the normal derivative, you will get this term, keeping the second term as it is, plus keeping this term psi n, and you have to differentiate the other. So from this you will get this expression. So this is the psi I semicolon I. Psi I semicolon I, we have already defined. This is the divergence of psi. So divergence of psi is 1 by root of g psi I product. So this is this expression is the definition for the divergence, and this divergence is expressed in the tensor form. Now suppose in the Minkowski space, the line element is expressed by dx square is equal to c square dt square minus dx1 square minus dx2 square and then dx3 square, and x1, x2, x3 are the spatial coordinate and ct is the time coordinate. Now here, what is if you express gik, and this will be 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 along the diagonal elements, all the other half diagonal elements are 0. So this is the signature is plus minus minus minus. So if you take the determinant will be the product of all these values. This is a minus value. Therefore, in such a space, you have to replace g by minus root of minus g, psi a root of minus g comma I, where root of minus g is a positive. So if you are discussing problems in the relativistic space, you have to use this expression. So far we have defined you express the tensor form of divergence. So the divergence of this vector is a tensor curve. The next one, we are going to discuss about the gradient of a scalar. Gradient of a scalar function. Gradient of a scalar function. Now let us consider a function, scalar function, which is the function of the coordinate. Then, if we differentiate phi with respect to the coordinate xk, this is called as the gradient. So the gradient of the scalar function is you have to differentiate phi with respect to the coordinate. Actually, we are using only k here because so phi comma k means partial d phi by d xt. So this is called a gradient. So this is a gradient. So gradient of phi so they are defining the gradient by this form. Phi comma k is equal to d phi by partial d phi by dx, which is called as the gradient. The next one is Laplacian. Laplacian is the divergence of the gradient. So we have already discussed that Laplacian is a divergence of a gradient. Is Laplacian. So we know the gradient, we know how to obtain the divergence of the vector. So if you combine the two results, we will get a Laplacian. So now you consider phi comma k. This is a covariant vector because d phi by dxk is a covariant vector. Now let us find the psi I. This is the contravariant component of a vector, can be expressed by g ik phi comma. So this is a covariant vector. So vector in the covariant position. So this is a rising of indices. So if you multiply g I k with this one, and this is the indices is rise in the contravariant position. So psi I is equal to this. So what is the divergence of psi? That we have already discussed. This is equal to 1 by root of g, the result from the result, we can write psi I root g. So this is we have discussed psi I. So del square phi. So this is a divergence of gradient, which is called as a del square. Psi is equal to gradient of phi. So del square is equal to divergence of psi. This is equal to. Then now let us use the result that we have discussed earlier. root of G, root G, G I K, I comma K, comma. So you substitute for this one. So this is J I K phi comma K. You will get this expression. So divergence of psi. Del square phi is equal to this. According to the definition of divergence, you are writing this one. But psi I can be expressed in this way because this is a covariant vector and the index is a rise, so we will think quantum vector psi I. So you substitute the value of psi I back here. This is equal to what? This is equal to G I K phi of K semicolon I. So this is a divergence of psi is equal to, according to using the definition, you are writing psi of K. This is a semicolon. So this is the divergence of psi. So now this is the Laplacian. So the Laplacian del square phi can be expressed in this form. This is all equal to G I K phi K semicolon. This is your psi. So psi I semicolon I is equal to a divergence. So psi I is given here. So this psi I semicolon I is your divergence, and this is the same as this expression. So 1 by root G of root of G G I K phi K comma. So this is a definition for the Laplace. Next we discuss a curl of a vector. So here you take a covariant vector n I semicolon K. The first one here term is the normal derivative minus, then using definition, this is n K gamma K, this is I K, so this is I K, and this is so by the definition of contrary covariant derivative of the covariant vector, you can write. Now change the index I to K and K to I. Then this becomes Nk semicolon I is equal to Nk comma I minus Ns gamma S. This is Ki. So this is equation 1. Now this is equation 2. Equation 1 minus 2 becomes, what is this? You subtract Ni semicolon K minus Nk semicolon I is equal to Ni comma K minus Nk comma I. Here this term Ns gamma S I K. Once you subtract this term plus Ns gamma S K I. What is I K? I K and K I. Both are I K and K I. Both are they are symmetric. Therefore this and this are equal. So you can be removed. So the term becomes Ni comma K minus Nk comma. So Ni semicolon K minus Nk semicolon I. This is defined as the curl. Curl of this curl of the vector again. This one. This is anti-symmetry. Anti-symmetry. With respect to K and I. So we are define the divergence of a vector in the tensor form, gradient of a vector in the tensor form, and Laplacian of a vector in the tensor form, and curl of a vector in the tensor. So these are the tensor form of four important operators.